1973 was 53 years ago, and yet the music that came out of that single year sounds nothing like something that old. It sounds like something recorded last night by people who understood exactly what love, loss, and longing were supposed to feel like when put to tape. No year in the 1970s produced a more concentrated run of R&B and soul records than 1973. Marvin Gaye, Roberta Flack, Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder, the Isley Brothers, all of them at or near the peak of their powers, all releasing records within the same 12-month window. Records that didn't just chart, but permanently embedded themselves into the emotional memory of an entire generation. "53 years later, these songs are still playing, still getting requested, still stopping people mid-conversation when they come through a speaker. That's not nostalgia. That's something deeper, the specific quality that separates music that was popular from music that was true. Tonight we're going back through the hits of 1973.
I've been waiting so long.
The unforgettable records that are turning 53 this year and haven't aged a single day. Stick around, because one of these songs was recorded in a single emotional session that the artist never fully planned. Another almost didn't get a proper release because the label didn't believe in it, and then became one of the most awarded records of the decade. Both are on this list. Let's go back to 1973. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. Gladys Knight and the Pips, 1973. Some songs describe heartbreak the way it actually happens, not with a dramatic confrontation, not with a door slamming, but with two people who both know it's over and neither one able to say it first. That's the specific emotional territory this record lives in, and it's territory that almost no other song in the genre has captured as precisely. Gladys Knight delivered this vocal with the kind of restraint that only comes from understanding the material completely. The song doesn't rush toward the ending. It sits inside the indecision, that painful, suspended moment before a relationship finally concludes, and makes the listener feel every second of it. It won the Grammy Award for Best R&B Song in 1974 and became one of the defining records of Gladys Knight's career.
We're not gonna make it.
Which is saying something given the catalog she built. The Pips' harmonies underneath her lead create a texture that sounds like the relationship itself.
I keep wondering.
Supportive on the surface, unraveling underneath. Quiet Storm Radio kept this record in rotation for decades because it described something universal. The specific cowardice of staying in something past its end, because ending it requires more courage than either person has. This channel exists specifically to bring back the records that deserve this kind of attention, the ones that never stopped being great but stopped getting played. Subscribe so the next deep dive finds you. From a song about an ending neither person could name, we move to one that named exactly what it was, without any hesitation at all. 7. Keep On Truckin', Eddie Kendricks, 1973. The first thing to know about this record is the voice. Eddie Kendricks had spent years as the falsetto lead of the Temptations. The voice behind Just My Imagination, one of the most delicate vocals in Motown history. Going solo, he could have played it safe and stayed in that lane. Instead, he made a funk record so irresistibly propulsive that it spent 2 weeks at #1 on the pop charts and became one of the most joyful dance records of the decade. The contrast between the tenderness of his Temptations work and the floor-filling confidence of this record is one of the most successful creative pivots in 1970s R&B. It became the record DJs played when a room needed to move, not the slow burn kind of moving, but the full commitment, both feet on the floor kind. The groove is so tight and so locked in that it's almost impossible to hear passively. It demands participation. Producer Frank Wilson built the track around a bass line and a horn arrangement that left just enough space for Kendrick's falsetto to float on top, without competing with anything underneath it. The result is a record that sounds effortless and is anything but. From a record built for pure forward motion, we slow everything down for a song that took its time and made every second count. 6. Touch Me in the Morning, Diana Ross, 1973. The morning in this song isn't a hopeful one. It's the specific kind of morning that comes after a night that both people know won't be repeated. The last morning, the one where the light through the window feels different because everything is about to change. Diana Ross recorded this at a point in her career where she was establishing herself as a solo force independent of the Supremes. The song gave her the space to be vulnerable in a way the group format rarely allowed. A single voice, a piano, an orchestral arrangement that builds slowly around her without ever overwhelming what she's saying. It reached #1 on the pop and R&B charts simultaneously and spent 3 weeks at the top. Proof that a song about loss, delivered with enough honesty, can reach anyone regardless of what they've personally experienced. The lyric is written from the perspective of someone who isn't asking for more than the moment offers, not hoping it will turn into something permanent, just asking to be held until the morning comes, knowing what the morning means. That emotional precision is what made this record last 53 years without sounding dated. If this countdown is bringing back records you hadn't thought about in years, share it with someone who grew up on this music. The best thing about songs like these is that they sound even better when someone else remembers them with you. From a song that accepted an ending gracefully, we move to one that refused to let go at all. 5. Midnight Train to Georgia, Gladys Knight and the Pips, 1973. The original version of this song was written about a different city, for a different artist, and had a completely different emotional center. Jimmy Weatherspoon wrote it first as Midnight Plane to Houston, a country-adjacent song that bore almost no resemblance to what it eventually became. Gladys Knight heard a version of the song and immediately understood something about it that nobody else had seen, that the story of someone following a dream back home, and the person who loves them enough to go too, was one of the most quietly heroic narratives in American life. She rebuilt the record around that understanding. It became one of the most celebrated R&B recordings of the decade, winning the Grammy Award for Best R&B Song and Best R&B Vocal Performance simultaneously in 1974. The Pips' call and response around Gladys Knight's lead vocal creates a conversation within the song itself. But he sure found out the hard. Two perspectives on the same decision playing out in real time. The song is ultimately about sacrifice and the specific kind of love that doesn't ask you to be something you're not. Said he's going back to find not so long ago. He couldn't make it in the city. She loved him enough to go back with him. The Pips deliver that ending like it's the most natural conclusion in the world. Midnight train to Georgia. Even on the midnight train. Yeah. Do you know someone who gave something up? A city, a career, an opportunity, for a person they loved? That's the story this song has been telling for 53 years. Still to come, the record that many consider the single greatest soul recording of 1973. One artist, one studio session, one record that hasn't stopped being played since the day it was released. That's coming up. Or That Lady, the Isley Brothers, 1973. The guitar line that opens this record is one of the most immediately recognizable in 1970s funk. Ernie Isley, the younger brother who joined the group and completely shifted the sonic direction of a band that had already been making music for 15 years. Before Ernie's arrival, the Isley Brothers were a soul and gospel outfit. After, they were something harder, heavier, and more rhythmically complex. That Lady is the record that announced that transition to the world, and it did so without easing anyone in gently. The arrangement builds across its runtime from a cool, controlled opening into something that escalates almost imperceptibly until the room is fully taken. It's a masterclass in how to use a groove not just as a backdrop but as a narrative device, the music itself telling the story of pursuit, attention, and desire without needing the lyrics to carry all the weight. It reached the top 5 on both the R&B and pop charts and became one of the Isley Brothers' signature records, the moment the catalog permanently changed direction. Ron Isley's vocal on this sits somewhere between restraint and hunger, a performance so controlled that the places where that control slips become the most powerful moments in the record. From a record built on controlled desire, we move to one built on complete, unguarded surrender. 3. Killing Me Softly with his song, Roberta Flack, 1973.
With his words, killing me soft.
The story behind this song begins not in a recording studio but in a concert venue, with a young songwriter named Lori Lieberman watching Don McLean perform and feeling so seen by the performance
He was strumming my back with his fingers.
that she immediately started writing down what she was experiencing. What she wrote became the basis of a lyric that Roberta Flack transformed into something larger than either the concert or the feeling that inspired it.
Killing me softly with his song, killing me softly.
Flack recorded her version with an arrangement so spare and so careful that every word lands with the full weight of the emotion behind it. Strummed out my pain, sang my life with his words.
Oh, life.
It won the Grammy Award for Record of the Year in 1974. It became one of the most covered songs in popular music, every version faithful to the original's central idea that music, at its most powerful, doesn't just move you, it exposes you.
With this song telling my whole.
It finds the thing you didn't know was sitting right there and pulls it into the open. Roberta Flack's voice on this record operates somewhere between a whisper and a confession. She never pushes, she never reaches, she simply delivers the lyric at exactly the volume the moment requires. Which is how the song manages to feel both intimate and universal at the same time. The records on this countdown are the reason this channel exists. To go this deep, tell the real stories, and bring back the music that shaped how people understood love and loss.
With this song.
Every single week. Subscribe and we'll keep bringing them back together. From a song that found people in their most vulnerable moments, we move to one that found them at their most euphoric.
He sang as if he knew me.
2. You Are the Sunshine of My Life, Stevie Wonder, 1973. Stevie Wonder in 1973 was in the middle of what music historians call his classic period, a 5-album run between 1972 and 1976 that produced some of the most celebrated recordings in the history of American music. Talking Book, Inner Visions, Fulfilling This First Finale, songs in the key of life, each one a statement, each one influential in a way that continued paying dividends decades later. You Are the Sunshine of My Life was the opening salvo of that run.
You are the sunshine of my life.
A song so warm and so complete in its expression of happiness that it became the default record for moments of uncomplicated joy, not bittersweet joy.
Forever you will stay.
Not complicated joy, the pure, full sun kind that doesn't carry any shadow. It won the Grammy Award for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance and crossed every genre boundary radio had. Pop stations played it. R&B stations played it. Easy listening stations played it. A record that belonged to everyone because the feeling it described belongs to everyone. Jim Gilstrap and Lonnie Groves sing the opening two verses.
This must be all of mine.
A detail most listeners have never noticed, before Wonder takes over for the final section. The handoff is seamless, and the choice deliberate. Other voices describing a love so large that Wonder needed the world to share it before he could fully claim it. Was this ever someone's song for you, or your song for someone else?
How could so much love begin?
That's the question this record has been asking for 53 years. From the purest expression of joy on this list, we arrive at the #1 entry.
Forever you stay in my.
The record that turned 53 this year and remains, by almost any measure, one of the most important soul recordings ever made.
You are the
1. Let's Get It On, Marvin Gaye, 1973. Marvin Gaye recorded this in a moment of profound personal conflict. He was ending his first marriage. He was falling into a new relationship. He was carrying guilt about the distance between the spiritual values he'd been raised with and the desires he couldn't suppress. The album he was building was supposed to address that conflict directly,
Let's get it.
not resolve it, but hold it up to the light. What came out of that internal tension was a record so assured, so comfortable in its own skin, so completely at peace with what it was asking for, that it became the defining statement of physical desire in the history of soul music.
To be here. Let's
It spent 2 weeks at #1 on the R&B charts and crossed into pop radio despite, or perhaps because of, the fact that nobody was pretending the song was about anything other than exactly what it was about. There's no metaphor in Let's Get It On.
Oh, baby.
There's no euphemism. There's only Marvin Gaye's voice, completely certain, completely warm, and completely honest. Ed Townsend co-wrote the song and brought its initial framework to the session. Gaye built the arrangement around a groove so unhurried and so confident that the production itself became part of the message. Nothing was rushed, nothing was anxious. The music communicated the same certainty as the lyric.
Don't you be.
It became one of the most sampled, covered, and referenced songs in American music, appearing in films, in comedy, in advertising, in hip-hop, in every context where the culture needed a shorthand for intimate desire.
Baby could get it on. Oh, yes, you.
53 years later, the moment those opening guitar notes hit a speaker, everybody in the room knows exactly what song it is. That level of recognition, sustained across more than half a century, is what separates a great record from a permanent one. Let's Get It On is permanent.